Hello guys. So this video is going to be a video about my tools. I'll show you a quick. I'll show you quick the normal model building tools that I have, and I'm going to show you a few other things that I have that I find useful. Um, you, they're not really anything special, but just things you can buy at the store that help in a lot of ways for different things. Um, so please like and subscribe to my channel, please, and hit that bell if you want to know when I upload new videos. Thanks for watching. So here I'm going to go over some of the things I use. Some of it's normal model building stuff, and some of it's stuff that I found to be useful. These sanding sticks, I have older ones from Squadron, and I found them to be really good, especially this tri-grit. It's really good for canopies and for clear plastic. It polishes it pretty good. And then you can always take a what are these rags called for glasses? Microfiber or what? And that cleans it up pretty good. You have tri-grit, extra fine, medium, and coarse. Then not so long ago, I got another set from Flexifile. Sorry. And I haven't used them so much yet, so I can't really say how good they are. But I couldn't get any Squadron ones without paying 50 euros for shipping, which I find a little ridiculous for something so small. Then I also found one of these nail polishers. Works good to smooth out plastic too. And then for bigger jobs, like when I cut off the flaps on the Helldiver, it took a long time with knives and grinding, because you had to cut all this plastic. You had to cut all this plastic off all along here. And it was quite a job, actually. But I think it turned out pretty well. And there is a little gap here, but I'm gonna fill it in a little bit before I finish. But I found these nail file like this. It helps to after you cut the plastic off, the plastic is pretty uneven, and the nail file helps to even it out really well. And I also found these little files. They work good in the curvature of wings and stuff like that to grind it down when there's problems, especially like on the big airliners. There was a lot of problems, and you can have different shapes here, so you can get in the corners really good. And then of course I have some tweezers. These aren't the greatest. I was really thinking about getting some of the model tweezers, the finer ones, but I haven't done it yet. They work good for small parts. That's a normal model building thing, actually. But I come pretty good with the normal tweezers, even though they're not that even, because they're these slanted kind. I really need the straight ones. I also found, to mix paint, you can buy the glasses, but the glasses are pretty expensive, and I find them a lot harder to clean. So I've been using these. These are the metal things for tea lights, and you can get a whole bag of tea lights for €1 with these little candles, and they're really easy to clean. You can use them a lot of times before you throw them away. A flathead screwdriver, because I need it to open these Revell and also the Humbrol paints, even though it tends to bend the lids pretty badly. I can't find it. I haven't been able to find anything else that works to open them, except for like coins. But sometimes the coins don't work that well either. I wish they were more like the Model Master paint with the screw top lid. But then the problem with those is the paint dries and cakes up and you can't open it. And I have these side cutters from Revell. I don't know if all of them do this, but this one, the metal is broken everywhere. I didn't think they were that good. I don't know if they all are like that, if it's just these Revell ones. I don't know. I have to get some new ones. But I'm not sure about what brand I should buy. Scissors. These are kids' scissors, actually. School scissors. To cut out decals. And these I found work really well. They don't damage the decals or anything when you cut them out. They're big, but they're still fine enough and sharp enough that they cut through the decal sheet without bending them or damaging them any other way. And then we have super glue. That's for the photo etch parts. And this is one that I get from Teddy. You get like tube. You get a tube for €1, and it's gel, so it doesn't run, and it works pretty good. I like to find these cheap things that work. Of course, scalpels. Important. Sharp. You need a sharp scalpel to clean up parts and stuff. It doesn't work any other way. And here, something, just normal everyday wooden toothpicks. I paint my canopies by hand, and I paint everything by hand, really. And these work great to when you're painting a canopy. If you go over the lines, take a toothpick, scratch the paint off. It doesn't scratch the clear plastic. You can put you can dip it in thinner to help get it off. And these work really well for stuff. And they also work well to paint small details in cockpits and stuff like that. I've been using these for years, and you get a whole thing for a couple euros, and it lasts forever. And clothespins, I got these. They're rubber on the inside, and they work. They're soft, so they don't hurt paint. And they work good to hold different things together. And then you have also the wooden ones. Are stronger, and they're good to hold wings and tail fins and stuff together. These are a lot cheaper than buying the model clamps. The model clamps. Well, you can get the same thing by the hardware store. The wood clamps. They're also in plastic, and they're exactly like the model clamps. But they're like a whole bag costs €6, and you can get a whole bag of normal clothespins for €1 or €2. Say I'm a budget modeler. And what's really important, what I really don't do that often, is paintbrushes. And I just bought a set of good paintbrushes, so there's €30. Normally, I just use the normal Revell brushes and Testors brushes, these white ones. I don't use these too much. I use these to mix paint because I dip the paint. I dip the brush in the paint and put it into the metal tea-light thing. And these, even though these are pretty worn down now, I paint all my armor with these little Testors brushes. Just sit and I forgot to take it out of the thinner. That's why it looks like that. But I find these little Testors brushes work really well for armor. They're tough. The hairs don't fall out. And the matte paint, it dries smooth. It doesn't matter what you use, it dries smooth. As long as the paint's not too thick. Here's a bit. They all look like that. I got 3 of them, but I got a new one coming. Now, I have a new paint mat coming. Hey, mine was 20 years old. This one that I'm having on the tip, I've had it since I was like 20, or maybe before then. The paintbrushes are really important, and I'm really glad I bought these, even though they cost 30 euros, and I really didn't have it. But they work well. I don't even know what brand they were. Bruslov? It's Kalinsky. It's the red martyr here. Red Martin here. And also, I read about this. Doing weathering with these pastel chalks. Now with these chalks. And I'm going to try that on I'm going to take one of my old aircraft, maybe that Hurricane that I did a review of, and try the pastel chalks to do some weathering. I also bought something like this last, because for weathering, I'm going to try to do more weathering on my art models. This is for the deck of the, I'm building the Saratoga, and I needed some mahogany. I can't find anything that's in the near to that color by Revell or Humbrol, so I found this. I have some other things, Microset and Microsol, and I find that works really well. I used a, I don't remember what brand it was. Might have been Humbrol, and it didn't work at all. And I also bought from Tamiya the brush conditioning fluid, because I wanted to take care of these expensive brushes I bought. That's pretty much it. I mean, the special things really are the toothpicks, which I know some people already use them. I've read about it before, I think. But this super glue, the gel from Teddy, it's cheap, and it works really well for PE because it doesn't run and it stays where you put it. And the tea lights, I thought that was a great idea I had to use these tea lights, because you can just pull the candle out of it. You don't have to use it, or you can burn the candle and clean it out, but it's easy to just pull it out and you can put it in something else to burn it if you want. That's really all I got. Oh, yeah, what I want to say about the scalpels too. I always have a couple old blades, because on these tanks with rubber tracks you have to melt the track pieces together. And I always keep at least 1 or 2 old blades that I can heat up with a lighter to melt them. And so you don't have to use a new blade. You can just use the old used up one, and you can use it forever, really. Well, that's pretty much it for this one. The next video will be an inbox review of AT-AT. Please like and subscribe, and until next time.